So now into the second week of Martinique, we're kind of up in the stakes a little bit, and I've got Saint James VSOP. So this is a rum that I've kind of talked about and featured before. I haven't gone back, as I've said before, I haven't gone back and watched these it was live streams that I've done this in, and blind tasting with my membership community that we did probably, I don't know, let's just say 8 months to a year ago. I purposely haven't gone back and watched those. And I never would have taken, I never would have taken in what I was really drinking on a live show, because I'm focusing on the audience, I'm focusing on the cameras and doing all the stuff there. My focus isn't actually on tasting the rum. So even, you know, even if I did go back and watch, it would have been not an accurate kind of view of what I actually kind of thought or what I allowed myself to take in, because with doing these videos, I've got time to edit. I've got time. When you see me doing that, actually there's probably a couple of minutes in between like the scenes, whereas you will see it literally rolling from one second to another. So I've got time to take in, reflect, and kind of talk myself through a rum when I'm kind of shooting videos like this. So as I say, we are now going to dive in or back into Rhum Saint James Martinique VSOP. You can see the whole AOC thing. This was the example I used in the AOC in the Martinique video. So we've got that, but let me talk you through the nuts and bolts, and then I'll kind of give you my viewpoint. Bearing in mind, the comparison I've got now at the moment is actually that, which is a very different beast to what a lot of cane heads will kind of know. So we've got to answer these questions. Is this value for money? Would I restock that? And have I got anything comparable? Would I be able to tell the difference between this and a molasses rum? And can I tell the difference in quality between that and that? So let's dive in and find out. Now, as always, I've got the prices here, and I've done the conversions for you this time as well. So price in the UK, £40 from Master of Malt. That's always my kind of price. There are plenty of other places that you could have got us through the Whiskey Exchange line, but I always use the Master of Malt. So that's my kind of price guide there. So £40 UK, which translates into $50 US and 46 euros. So again, let me know your prices wherever you are around the world of what this is. I think this should be pretty much available. Not massively, not like Plantation 3 stars, not like Chairman's Reserve or anything like that, but I think this should be relatively easy to get around the world. It's not a small niche brand, it's quite a decent sized brand. So Martinique rum, 43% ABV, so 86 proof. Column still. It's a 4-year-old, as much as I can tell, bearing in mind it's the VSOP. The websites aren't that forthcoming. I don't know anyone now at Rhum Saint James to kind of talk me through this. Hopefully I'll meet someone down at upcoming sort of rum shows that I'm going to. So hopefully I'll meet someone there. So that's as far as my knowledge goes. I can't really give you any more detail about how this is made or anything there. So this is just going to be me blind tasting. The only other thing is American oak. I can pretty much sort of translate that from the back of the bottle, even though it's in French. And this is a proper AOC rum. It conforms to all the rules and regulations. So let's dive in on the old nostrils. So first up, would I tell that this is agricole and not molasses? I would hope so. I'm not going to put it out there 100% yes. I'm not going to be one of those people. I would hope so, just by the profile that I get off that. I do get that green, grassy, herbaceous kind of thing, but it is behind a lot of sort of wood notes, a lot of vanilla notes. And in actual fact, it does smell quite sort of fruity to me. I potentially might go banana off that. In a very different way to Jamaica. A very different way. But Jamaica kind of reminds me of like an unripe banana, if that's the right thing to say. This reminds me of like a really ripe, like proper yellow, lovely kind of banana, proper banana. But I'm kind of torn on this, because I think at the top, I was thinking green apple, but what I actually think I get is like lime. It's quite citrusy, but I think I can distinguish that as lime. I think that's what's there. But it was a little bit of fruit. But I think it's if you were looking at a spider chart, so I haven't used it for ages, but if you were thinking of Rum X with that whole sort of spider chart of where you plot stuff, scores out of 5 and it gives you like rings and stuff, I think this is actually kind of quite well balanced. I think it gives you fruit as much as it gives you barrel aging, as much as it gives you kind of sort of those woody roasted spice notes. I think it's all sort of rounded there. But the one thing I will say before I dive in and taste it, smelling it makes me really want to dive in and taste it. I'm struggling not to sip this at the moment because I'm smelling it. Oh, that smells good. Smells, I'm giving this like a proper sort of 10 out of 10. This really makes me want to dive in and give it a good sip. So let's dive in. Would I pick this as a cane juice rum, as a Martinique rum? It's a tough call. It's a very tough call at the moment. I think as I get a little bit more experience under my belt, I probably would taste the difference quite easily. I get the vanilla notes. I get the sort of the spice of the barrel aging coming off there. But I do get a lovely balance of fruit, of tropical kind of fruit. And it is if I'm kind of thinking Barbados or Jamaica or Guyana, it is a very different tropical fruit vibe to that. So my little brain would be thinking, hang on, this is fruity, but this is different. I can't really explain that even more because I've just picked up, for instance, what I would call dried fruit. You know, the dried fruit that goes into Christmas cakes and Christmas puddings. But it is in a very different way to what I pick up dried fruit off a Guyana or dried fruit off a Barbados rum. It's just different. Maybe it's that sort of grassy herbaceousness and the undertones. I wouldn't say they're prominent. You know, if you've got a white Blanc Agricole, if you know what I mean by those kind of vibes, that taste in that sort of funk, if you want to call it that, off the nose and off the taste, you don't get that off that. You know, if you're one of those people that gets put off by Agricole, you're not going to be put off by this. This is a delicious sipping rum. Now, I like what I did a minute ago with the, I need to kind of go back to these and refer to this, the Rum X-App and those spider graphs. But if I was thinking of that, because I think that's a great way to kind of explain it to you. There is fruit there, but the spice peppery tingle is slightly more prominent than the fruit. So if I was drawing a spider graph kind of thing, I would probably put it more spice orientated, more wood, more barrel orientated than I would fruit. But don't think there's no fruit there. There's plenty of kind of fruit notes to it, but it's there. But I don't know, this is going to be really kind of intriguing as I go down this journey, because the only thing I can kind of say to you is I find it softer. I find it more approachable than maybe a molasses rum. It's just got this rounded, I don't want to say sugary because that's going to make you think it's sweet, but it's got this texture that it sort of hits the side of your gums and the back of the throat and the side of your tongue. It's just got this lovely kind of silky texture to it that I perhaps don't get from molasses rums. And in that case, I hate using the word, but is it smooth? Christ, yeah. Bearing in mind no sugar has been added to that, it can't be. This is silky smooth. So let's get into the summing up, and I've got a lot of comparisons to do here, a lot of talking you through even use case scenario for this. So let's dive in. Use case, sipping rum. I'm quite happily sipping now. I dare say as you go down your rum journey a bit more and you get into, like, if you're a whiskey head, you know, you like your 12, 14, 20-year-old whiskies, I dare say this may be a bit too young for you. But as I've spoken about time and time again, where I really do love younger rums, and the more I go down my rum journey, the more I'm kind of properly at home and properly confident and don't really care what other people think of me. I like younger rums. I don't care. I love that raw taste of a younger rum that hasn't been sort of mellowed out by barrels. I love that. This is about on that boundary for me. It's got those sort of barrel notes to it, but I don't miss the kind of rawness there. So for a lot of people, this is going to be a fantastic mixing rum. I'm tasting that now. Fantastic with Coke, fantastic with gingers, most mixers that I can possibly think of, the Stratford sodas, and possibly, do you know what, the spiced and the hedgerow, probably. Even the citrus and the tropical are going to work, but I think that's probably more suited to something with a little bit more oomph behind it. So I think the spice to the hedgerow, again, the gingers, I probably wouldn't go something like a ting or a grapefruit soda with that, but definitely a Coke rum, 100% a Coke rum for me there. So that's use case. Rum fashioned again. I'm going to do a tea punch, actually. I forgot about that. Tea punch is absolutely flipping delicious. Just a slight drizzle. I've added a bit more rum. Slight drizzle, 3 ml, half a bar spoon. I've used literally half of that. So 2.5, 3 ml. Cheek of lime. That is absolutely delicious. So a tea punch, rum fashioned, 100% going to work. But don't let that detract you, because I'm quite happy drinking that neat. Quite happy. I don't think there's anything in that people, even if you're new to your rum journey, you're going to be put off drinking that. So let's get into the sort of rounding up of this. Is it value for money? Would I restock it? Have I got anything behind the bar that's comparable already? Is it value for money? Now, the thing with Agricoles, because they were not a big, and I'm specifically talking about, I nearly said specifically, I keep saying that, specifically talking about the UK market here. Because Agricoles are not a big deal here, they are naturally more expensive. I'm not sure what the landscape is around the world in the US. I dare say, actually, I think I'm getting the vibe that in Germany, actually, they've got a lot of love for Agricole out in Germany, but I don't know. I'd like to hear from you guys. So I dare say it might be cheaper elsewhere at 40 quid. So looking around at rums that are £40 behind me, they are molasses based. They are a lot more older. You know, your Dawley's 12 is in that scheme of things. Your Appleton 12-year-old is in that scheme of things. You know, some of the plantation stuff is 35s, you know, and they are sort of a little bit older there. So at face value, £40 is actually kind of a little bit expensive, but do I enjoy it more than the Dawley's 12? Let's just go Dawley's 12, Appleton 12. Do I enjoy that more? Yes, but as I like to point out, so you fully appreciate, I do like younger aged rums. Okay, so that is, if that is a 4-year-old rum, that is completely in my wheelhouse. So I'm totally happy with that. Would I restock that even at £40? Yes, I would at this precise moment. I'm not going to give you, like, I'm not going to turn around and go, yeah, I'm 100% going out and buying that, because I've got lots of other rums to feature, even in Martinique. So we're going up even more. And have I got anything comparable? Well, you know, I don't think I can compare it to any of those molasses rums. It is a very different vibe. So the only thing I can compare it to are kind of these sort of brown, let's call them brown Agricole so far. And is that a very clear step up in taste and quality over those? Abso-flipping-lutely. That is delicious. And if you've got 40 quid to spend in the UK or whatever it is in the US, at the moment, I highly recommend it. But can we do better? Let's find out in the next one.